What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the latest phones from TCL called the TCL 20 Pro. This is a phone that supports 5G connectivity and is powered by the Snapdragon 750 that's paired with 6 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. And for those of you that love benchmark scores, this device gets an Antutu benchmark score of about 380,000. And you typically know that when a device gets a score this high, it will perform pretty good for most applications and games, but we'll talk more about that later on in the video. In the box you're gonna find the device itself. There is also a user manual, the power adapter, and a USB-A to a USB-C charging cable. Unfortunately, there is no case that comes with the device in the box, but the folks at TCL were nice enough to actually send me a case for it. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of this case. It is a bit on the bulkier side, but yes, there are a bunch of cases available for this device. The phone itself looks a lot like a flagship. We have glass on the front, glass on the back, and of course a metallic frame. Not to mention that we actually have a 3.5mm audio jack at the top there. So on the front, the screen is a 6.67 inches AMOLED panel with a 1080p resolution and also curved edges. Once again, something that you'd find for much more expensive devices. The colors are super vibrant, the viewing angles are really good, and the screen does get fairly bright, so you can easily use the phone outdoors. There is also an in-screen fingerprint scanner that works pretty good, and the phone also supports face unlocking. So if you don't unlock it with your finger, you can always use the face unlocking. The screen also supports that always-on display feature that we see for much more expensive devices, and yes, you can have something on the screen on at all times if that's what you need. So this way you can see notifications and stuff like that just by glancing at the phone and don't actually have to touch it. At the top there we also have a 32 megapixel front-facing camera. I'm just gonna take a couple of pictures so I can show you a couple of examples. So that's one. And that's the second one. So this is how the pictures would turn out if you take some selfies. Going back to the phone's frame, as I mentioned earlier, we have that 3.5mm audio jack at the top. On the left hand side we have a customizable button, so you can customize what apps open when you press that button once or twice, or if you press it for a longer period of time. At the bottom we have the slot for the SIM card, we have the USB-C charging cable and the holes for the speaker. So this is the only speaker available. With a lot of devices we see one speaker at the bottom and one at the top, but for this phone we only have one speaker, and even though the speaker gets quite loud, well, you can't really compare it to a phone that has dual speakers. And this is a quick example so you can hear how this speaker at the bottom here sounds. Moving to the back of the phone, well, the back does look a bit more unique, so a bit different than a lot of the phones that we've been seeing lately. And on the back there we also have a variety of cameras. First of all, the main camera is a 14 megapixel sensor that has optical image stabilization, so I guess that's gonna help when you take pictures at night, if your hand is shaky, when you're recording videos and so on. Now I will be doing a camera comparison between this phone and maybe the iPhone 12, I haven't decided quite yet. So I didn't take that many pictures with it yet, but when I do, you're going to be able to see that camera comparison on my channel. Aside from that, we have an ultra-wide camera, we have a macro camera, another camera that's used for portrait mode pictures, and the device can record in 4K at 30 frames per second. That's the maximum resolution, and we also have image stabilization at that resolution. The phone runs Android 11, and on top of that Android 11 we have TCL's launcher, but this launcher is pretty pleasant, it's quite light, so the phone feels quite snappy, so not a lot holding this phone back. Not to mention that Snapdragon 750 is fairly powerful. So I tried a variety of apps on it, like Chrome, Facebook. I even did a bit of gaming. I played Call of Duty. And for Call of Duty, the device does extremely well. It does get a bit hot after you play for about half an hour or so around the cameras there. So I'm imagining the CPU is located at the top somewhere. But overall, it does perform quite well for a mid-range device, I'm gonna say. Inside it we have a 4500 milliamp hour battery, and the phone also supports fast charging. So charging this from 0 to 100 is done in about an hour and a half, or just over an hour and a half. The phone also supports wireless charging, so you basically don't have to plug it in, you can just place it on a wireless charger and it will charge. Now, I haven't had enough time to actually use the phone enough so I can tell you how much time you actually get on a charge. I expect somewhere between 7 to 9 hours of screen on time based on the CPU and my previous experience with other devices using the same CPU and battery size. But I still have to use the phone a few more days so I can actually give you a more accurate estimation about the battery life on this device. But yes, between 7 and 9 hours of screen on time easily. The GPS unit inside it works extremely well, so it takes maybe a second to find your location, so very fast. So you can use any navigation app. Of course, we have an NFC chip inside the phone, so you can use the device to make payments using Google Pay, and the phone also has a variety of sensors available. So to quickly conclude this video, for a mid-range device this looks really good, looks much more expensive than what it is. We have a beautiful screen on it, we have pretty good cameras, we have good performance, so overall I can't really say anything bad about this device after using it for a few days. Of course I still have to use it a bit more so I can get a better feel for it, but as of now I am pretty happy with this device, and I will follow up with another video and a camera comparison in a few days depending on the weather. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.